In this video, we're going to deal with something that is really important when it comes to inequalities. So if you notice, we have a negative coefficient, so we have negative 5x minus 4 is less than or equal to 16. So here what we're going to do is set it up like we've been in the past couple of videos. We're going to draw our great divide. Don't deal with your x first, deal with your integer. So we have minus 4, so we're going to add 4 to undo it. Do the same thing to the other side. The 4's cancel each other out. We're going to bring down everything that is left over, so remember that includes that negative sign right there. So negative 5x is less than or equal to 20. Now here's the big thing when it comes to inequalities. Just like with the equations, when the two numbers are right beside each other, the number and the x are right beside each other, so that means multiplication, so we're going to divide. We're multiplying by negative 5, so we're going to divide by negative 5 on both sides. Now here's the big difference between inequalities and equations. What's going to happen here is something that is super important. And I'm going to show you why this works when we check it in just a second. When you're dividing by a negative, it's the same. A negative, another word for that is the word opposite. Now what this means is when we divide by the opposite of positive 5, something's going to happen to this inequality symbol. It is actually going to flip around. So we are going to have x is now greater than or equal to 20 divided by negative 5. If you need to draw your triangle, feel free. You have positive 20 divided by negative 5. That means you will have a negative answer because that's what's left over. 20 divided by 5 is 4. So here's why checking is so important. And I'm going to show you with the correct answer, and I'm also going to show you with the incorrect answer. So we need to pick a number that is greater than or equal to negative 4, but let's do greater than. Let's say 0, because 0 is greater than negative 4. So I'm going to plug in everywhere I see an x, I'm going to plug in a 0. So negative 5 times 0 minus 4 is less than or equal to 16. So let's see if that works. We have 0, because negative 5 times 0 is 0. Minus 4 is less than 16. 0 minus 4 is negative 4 is less than or equal to 16. So ta-da, it works. Now, here's what I want to show you. Had you left that inequality sign not flipped. So had you said x is less than or equal to negative 4. Here's what will happen. So say you didn't switch it and you want to go check it. I need a number that's less than negative 4, so I'm going to say negative 5. Because remember, when you're going this way, negative 5 is more to the left than negative 4 is on our number lines right here. So I'm going to say negative 5 times negative 5, so everywhere I see an x, I'm going to put that negative 5, minus 4 is less than 16. Negative 5 times negative 5, so remember your triangle sign up here, negative times a negative will leave me a positive, so I have 25 minus 4 is less than or equal to 16. 25 minus 4 is 21. 21 is definitely not less than 16. So that's what happens when you forget to flip your sign. When we divide by negatives or multiply by negatives, our inequality sign is going to flip. That rule will be in your ISN notes, but I wanted to introduce that here in this video as well. We're also going to practice graphing this just to re-solidify that. So we have right here x is greater than or equal to negative 4. So we're going to graph that negative 4 right here. Remember, greater than or equal to, that equal to is going to create a closed dot because it is equal to. Remember, all equals have to be a closed dot, and because it is greater than, it's going to go to the right. So we're going to do one more example just to make sure we're good with those negative coefficients. Now in this problem, I wanted to address a negative fraction again, just to make sure that we're all on board with fractions, making sure that they all look right. So again, first rule, step, draw your great divide. Get rid of your integer first. Remember, don't deal with that x until later. I have minus 13. Oh, let me change my color so you can see my steps. Minus 13 on both sides. The 13s cancel each other out. I bring everything that is left over. That includes the negative, the fraction, and the x. Negative 4/5 x is greater than 33 minus 13 is 20. Now, here's what I want to show you just to kind of help you. We know we have a negative right here. We're going to have to multiply or divide by something. What I highly, highly recommend is where you're going to put your answer down here of x. I would recommend flipping that inequality symbol right away. You can use this in multiple choice answers as well, where you can look and see, hey, I know I'm going to have to deal something with this negative and I have an inequality. So you can actually realize that any answer choice that has a greater than sign right here will be wrong, and you can eliminate it. So that's what I would recommend. Do this step at the very bottom so you do not forget to deal with that later on. All right. To remember to undo a reciprocal, you're going to multiply by the flipped form of this fraction. Remember, it's called a reciprocal. So the reciprocal of 4/5 is 5/4. Don't forget that negative right there because we want to get rid of that negative as well. So that we do the same thing to the other side, times negative 5/4. Our negatives all cancel out over here. I'm sorry, our fractions all cancel out over here. Our x is brought down like we already did because I multiplied by this negative right here. That's what caused my inequality symbol to flip. But remember, I already did that at the beginning so I wouldn't forget. Put 20 over 1 so that you have a nice pretty fraction. 4 goes into 4 once. It goes into 25 times. 5 times negative 5. Again, if you need to use your triangle, feel free. That's what we practiced it for. Positive 5 times negative 5 will leave a negative answer. And 5 times 5 is 25. 1 times 1 is 1. So we have that x should be less than negative 25. So I'm going to check one more time to practice this because I want to make sure you're good to go with this. Pick an answer that's less than negative 25. Negative 30 works. Anything like that. So I have negative 4/5 times negative 30 plus 13 has to be greater than 33. So again, I'm going to practice this over here. 5 will go into negative 30 negative 6 times. So we have negative 4 times negative 6, which is 24, plus 13 has to be greater than 33. 37 is greater than 33, so we have picked correctly. Now in this example, we're going to practice graphing this just to make sure everyone has this down. Remember, we can just graph this here. Oops, I'm sorry. Here is my negative 25. It needs to be an open circle because it's a less than sign. And then my arrow is going to end up pointing to the left, remember. Goes that way because it's less than. So hopefully this helps you with negative coefficients. And again, like I said, we're going to be practicing this in class as well.